Chapter 19. The End of the Mystery. The next morning, the 5 find-outers and their dog arrived punctually at the police station. With them they brought their clues, as the big man had requested. There was Fatty's drawing of the footprints, the bit of grey cloth in the matchbox, and the rubber-soled shoes that had been scraped up by Buster. "You know, the only clue that wasn't any use was the bit of grey flannel," said Larry, opening the box. "We never found out whose coat it belonged to, did we? And yet it must belong to someone who went through that gap. Perhaps Mr. Hick wore a grey suit that night. If so, he hasn't worn it since, because he's always had on dark blue whenever we've seen him." They went into the police station feeling a little awed. Mr. Goon was there without his helmet, and also another policeman the children didn't know. They stared at Mr. Goon, expecting him to rise up and say, "Clear off." But he didn't. He told them to sit down in such polite tones that the children were overcome with astonishment. They sat down. Buster went to inspect the policeman's legs, and Clear-off didn't even kick out at him. "We were to meet someone here," said Fatty. Clear-off nodded. "He'll be along in a minute," he said. As he spoke, a small police car drove up, and the children looked round, expecting to see their friend, the big man. But he wasn't in the car. To their surprise, there was someone else in it that they knew. It was the old tramp. He was muttering to himself and looking rather scared. "I'm an honest old fellow, I am, and nobody never said I wasn't. I'll tell anything I know, of course I will, but I won't do nothing to get myself into trouble, that I won't. I've not done nothing wrong." There was a plainclothes policeman in the car with him, besides the driver. Bets was surprised when Larry told her that the man in the dark grey suit was a policeman. "I thought they never wore anything but their uniforms," she said. Then another car drove up, driven by an extremely smart-looking man in blue uniform. He wore a peaked cap, and the other policemen saluted him smartly when he heaved himself out of the car. The car was big, but the man was big too. The children gazed at him, and Bets gave a squeal. "It's the fisherman! It's the man we saw yesterday! Hello!" "Hello there," said the big man, smiling. "We've found the tramp, Inspector," said the plainclothes policeman to the big man. The children looked at one another. So their friend was an inspector of police! Golly! "An inspector is a very, very high-up policeman," whispered Pip to Bets. "He's terribly clever. Look at old Clear-off. He's trembling like a jelly." Clear-off was not really trembling, but it was plain that he was quite overcome by the visit of the inspector to his small police station. His hands shook as he turned over the pages of his notebook. The inspector beamed at the children. "Nice to see you again, if I may say so," he said. He spoke to Clear-off, making Mr. Goon jump. "You are lucky to have 5 such smart children in your district, Goon," he said. Clear-off opened and shut his mouth, but said nothing. He didn't want smart children in his district, especially any that were smarter than he was, but he couldn't very well say so to his inspector. Then the tramp was brought before the inspector and questioned. He answered willingly enough, once he had been assured that he would only do himself good, not harm, by answering truthfully. The children listened intently. "Tell us all the people you saw in Mr. Hick's garden that night," said the inspector. "Well," said the tramp, "there was myself, hiding under a bush near the workroom, not doing no harm to nobody, just taking a rest like." "Quite," said the inspector. "Then I saw that fellow who got a sack that morning," said the tramp. "Peaks, his name was. He was hiding in the bushes, along with someone else I couldn't see, but by the voice I reckoned it was a girl. Well, I see him going into the house and out again through a window." "Ah," said the inspector. "Then I see an old fella," said the tramp. "I heard him having a quarrel with Mr. Hick that day. Name of Smelly, wasn't it? Yes. Well, he came walking down the drive, quiet-like, and he slipped into the house by a door, just before Peaks came out again." "Go on," said the inspector. Did you see anyone else?" "Yes, I did," said the tramp. "I see Mr. Hick himself." Everyone listened breathlessly. "I was lying under that there bush," said the tramp, "thinking that there was a lot of people in the garden that evening, when I heard someone squeezing through the gap in the hedge not far from me. I looked through the sprays of the bush, and I saw it was Mr. Hick himself. He stood there in that ditch for a long time, and then he went to a big clump of blackberries and fished up a tin out of the middle where it was hidden." Fatty gave a little whistle. It was extraordinary to hear the tramp relating the whole story that they had so carefully pieced together. That tin must have contained petrol. "Then Mr. Hick went to the little cottage nearby, stayed there a while, came out and locked the door, and hid in the ditch again," said the tramp. "I lay under my bush as still as a mouse. After a time, when it was really dark, I heard Mr. Hick getting out of the ditch and going down the lane towards the railway. Then I saw a light in the cottage, and I guessed it was on fire, and I went off mighty quick. I didn't want to be found there and accused of starting it." "Thank you," said the inspector. "Was there anyone else at all that you saw?" "Not a soul," said the tramp. "A very pretty plot," said the inspector. "Mr. Hick wants money. He manages to pick a quarrel with a good many people that day, so that if by chance the insurance company suspect foul play, there are many people who have reason to burn his cottage out of spite. He gets his chauffeur to take him to the station in the afternoon to catch the train to town. He must have got out at the next station and walked back over the fields to his garden, where he hid until he set fire to the cottage. Then he walked back to the railway, waited at the place where the London train always halts for a minute, and gets into an empty carriage unseen in the darkness. He arrives at Peterswood Station, is met by his chauffeur, and driven home, to be told that his workroom is on fire. Very pretty indeed." "And now I think we must ask Mr. Hick a few questions," said the plainclothes man. "That is so," agreed the inspector. He turned to the children. "We will let you know what happens," he said. "And, if I may say so, I am very proud to have met the 5 find-outers and dog. I trust that we shall work together on other mysteries in the future. I should be extremely grateful for your help, and I am sure Mr. Goon feels the same as I do." Mr. Goon didn't at all, but he could do nothing but nod and try to smile. He was angry to think that the 5 pests had actually solved the mystery before he had, and that the inspector was praising them. "Good day, Goon," said the inspector pleasantly, walking out to his car. "Good day, Inspector Jenks," said poor Mr. Goon. "Can I give you children a lift?" enquired the inspector. "Am I going your way?" He was, for he was going to Mr. Hick with the plainclothes man. The children piled into the big car, bursting with importance, and hoping that everyone in the village would see them riding with their friend, the great inspector. "I suppose you couldn't possibly put in a word for us with our parents, could you?" asked Pip. "You see, Mr. Goon complained so bitterly of us. If you spoke well of us, it would be a great help." "It would be a pleasure," beamed the inspector, starting up his powerful car. "I'll call in after I've interviewed Mr. Hick." He kept his word. He called on Pip's mother later in the day, and very much impressed her with his admiration for the find-outers. "They are very smart children," he said. "I am sure you will agree with me. I am proud to know them." The children crowded round him eagerly. "What about Mr. Hick? What did he say?" "I questioned him closely, and let him know that we knew everything, and had got his shoes too," said the inspector. "He denied it at first, but when asked to explain how it was that he heard those aeroplanes coming over here at the time when he had vowed he was in London, he broke down and confessed everything. So I am afraid Mr. Hick will have to leave his comfortable house and spend some considerable time with the police. He is even now on his way, and poor Mrs. Minns is in a most excited state." "I expect Lily will be glad that Horace isn't suspected any more," said Daisy. "And we'd better go and tell Mr. Smelly all about it too, so that he will forgive us for getting into his house and taking his shoe. Will Mr. Goon give him back his shoe, Inspector Jenks?" "It has already been done," said the big man. "Well, I must be going. I hope I shall see you again some day. You did very well indeed with your clues and your list of suspects."
"There was only one clue that wasn't any good,"
said Larry, pulling out his matchbox with a bit of grey flannel in.
"We never found any suspect with a grey flannel coat and a tiny bit torn out of it."
"Well, if you don't mind my saying so, I have an idea that I can explain that clue," said the big inspector, looking wise.
"Oh, do tell us,"
said Bets. The inspector pulled Larry to him, swung him round, and showed the others a tiny tear in his grey flannel jacket, just by the armpit at the back. "That's where your bit of grey cloth came from," he said with a deep chuckle. "You all got through that gap in the hedge when you went to find footprints, didn't you? And Larry must have caught himself a bit on a prickle, and the boy behind him spotted the bit of grey rag on the twig and thought it was a clue. Good thing you didn't see that Larry's coat was torn, or you might have written him down as a suspect too." The children laughed.
"However was it that nobody noticed Larry's coat was a bit torn?" said Bets, astonished. "Well, to think of all the things we found out, and we didn't find that out."
"Goodbye," said the inspector, getting into his car. "Thanks for your help. It's a very satisfactory ending, as I'm sure you will agree with me."
"Rather,"
said everyone.
"Goodbye. It was a bit of luck meeting you."
The car roared off up the lane. The children turned back into the garden.
"What an exciting week we've had," said Daisy. "I suppose now the find-outers must come to an end, because we've solved the mystery."
"No," said Fatty. "We'll still be the 5 find-outers and dog, because you simply never know when another mystery will come along for us to solve. We'll just wait till it comes." They are waiting, and one will come, there's no doubt about that. But of course, that will be quite another story.